Hello, welcome to Scrap Time episode 621. My name is Christine, and on today's episode we're cutting fabric with our slice and our dies. Making Memories has put out a fusible web to use with fabric so you can cut fabric using the slice. So I'm going to show you a bit about that today. They've also put out some Slice Fabrique design cards. So these design cards are made with the idea that you're going to be cutting fabric, and this design card here has it's called Spring Has Sprung, and has these flower designs and the little chick, the bunny, butterflies, dragonflies, a bird, a bee, and then these variety of flowers. I'm going to show you the little book. So what it is, it's set up a little differently. That say under this flower you have the option of the A, B, C, D layers of the flowers. Then you have the little middle yellow center and then the stem. And it is, instead of being in half-inch increments and all that, it's called size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this allows you to get a finished image greater than 4 inches because you're building up your flower. So it tells you what the finished size of the flower would be here on the side. So you decide. So if you're going to cut size 4, then you would just put size 4 when you cut each of these shapes. And I'll be showing you that a bit on the slice as well. So I just want to flip through here so you could see how it's broken down into the components of the designs. So it's a little differently set up than the regular design cards. And although this is a fabric card, of course you can use it with paper as well. It's the exact same cutting ideas. So you could cut any of these with paper, but it is designed to cut with fabric. Okay. So we're going to pull over our slice again, and here on the back of my fabric I've already ironed on the fusing. So I'm going to lift up my slice and set it down in place there. So I'm going to hit my menu, and we have our Spring Has Sprung, so we're going to select that. So we're going to go through, and I think I'm going to choose this. So you'll see now here we have our 4 pieces to our flower. So I want to cut that one. Say I'm going to select that. So in this case we have our choice of normal or normal. You don't get the shadow and mirror options with this card. So now that says size 5. You can go to size 6 and then 7 even in this one. 2, 3, 4. So let's say size 5. I'm going to select that. And then again I'm going to press this button on the side to cut. Now, even though I do have the hands free, I just put a light hand on it. I'm not really tightly holding it in place. I'm just, out of habit, I put a hand. But I'm using the hands free, so as you can see, it's pretty strong on there. So let's lift this off and see our flower here. And you can see how perfectly that cut. It just came right off. There is no loose little strings hanging. So I'm going to, I have a little spatula somewhere, but of course there I can just take it off like that. Now the other great thing about this material is it's actually applique. So I can now peel this off if I want. And you can sort of see that the back of this is shiny, and that is the stickiness of the fusing is there. So I can now take this and iron it onto any fabric. It can be an apron, it can be a pair of jeans, your kids' clothes. You can make really fun little patches for them. So this can now be ironed directly onto another piece of fabric. So I've done this already. I'm going to bring over my apron. This is an apron I actually use, so there's paint all over it. but I did the bird design here, and I cut out all the different layers, and then I ironed it back on. But then again, with my marker, I just like to sketch it out, and it just makes it become more into the design, especially since I have all this paint and stuff going on already. But that gives you some idea. This bird here is about almost 6 inches by 4 inches. So it gives you some idea to the size you can get with the Fabrique design cards. I'm going to show you one more thing though. I'm going to move my cutting mat off my table. And we're going to bring up our die cutting machine. So I have my fabric here with this area, and I'm going to take a regular die. This is one of those flowers I showed you before from Lifestyle Crafts. I'm going to put it on, and I'm just going to cut out some of this extra. I'm going to put it down there, and we're going to run it through. So you can see here, I have one little string or two little strings caught. That happens sometimes. I'm just going to trim that. So you can see now I'm even able to cut fabric using my regular dies with this fusible web on the back of them as well. So now you think all those people that are taking the fashion doll class coming up, how now you can get fabric and cut the clothes for the fashion dolls out of fabric as well, and not just paper, and it will add another texture to your projects. And then this is fusible as well. So say if you were doing a fabric journal, you can just peel this off and iron it right into your journal. Or one of those fabric scrapbooks that are out there. And I can just iron that right in. And I actually did this on the other side of my apron. Get my apron back here, show you this side with more paint. So there I cut some flowers and then some circles, and then this was the leaves from Lifestyle Crafts, and I just hand cut the stems. And again did all my little doodling. But there you go. So you can use your regular dies with the fusible web, and you can use the slice with the fusible web. And so now all your die cutting can include fabrics as well. And I used, this is just 100% cotton quilting type fabric. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out my website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm showing you how to make a cute bunny garland. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.